Hi, I know it's kind of been a while, but I've had a lot on my plate. Um, if you're new here, then please consider sticking around. I'm Laura, aka Lulu Cheese. I'm gonna preface this by saying, obviously, this is not going to be what I do in most of my videos because, well, if you read the title, you understand. I'm not gonna, be repainting my room every time or on a regular basis because that's just really expensive and not something that I can afford to do. Like many people, um, being locked down, you kind of get a lot of time to think, um, kind of get a lot of time to go a little bit mad. And I was looking around at my room and I was just kind of looking at the walls, the color of the walls, and I was kind of like, they were both kind of shades of blue at the time, and it just kind of felt quite dark and quite depressing. Now, like, it was winter at the time, so that's probably why it was quite dark, and it just, yeah, I thought it was time for a change. So, yeah. Now, I do want to kind of disclaimer here where the first coat was pretty patchy, but once I got the first coat on, I could go back and fix that. What it was it was something to do with the paint itself dried quite fast. So when it dried, you were, if you went back over it, you were just taking the paint that you just put on off. We noticed the same thing when we were painting the purple wall. Once you got that first coat on, it was fine and dry. Then you could go back and you could kind of fill in the patches. So then, after 2 or 3 coats, it was fine and you wouldn't even know. But if you do look at like the video here, it is quite patchy at first, but as we go through, it will be a lot less patchy, I promise. I was thinking about what colors I wanted to go for. I looked into like the meanings behind colors, what way certain colors will make you feel. So like I know because my walls were blue, that can often be associated with, sad feelings or feelings of being blue or, down, depressed, sad. And I kind of didn't want that because that's not the kind of thing you want for a room that you're going to spend a long period of time in, and this was during the time of lockdown. It didn't seem like there was going to be a let up or a permanent, return to normality. So I kind of already knew that I was going to be spending a lot of time in my room. I didn't want it to be depressing or sad or blue. So I knew I wanted something bright because, as I said, it was on the back end of winter, it was going into spring, so we'd been through a lot of very dark times, both physically and metaphorically. And it was quite a mentally draining winter. So I kind of wanted something that would be bright, especially because I only have one window in my room. To me, it's very important that I have enough light in my room. There was something very soothing about painting my walls. In many ways, it gave me kind of a break from the stress that I was feeling at the time. And it was just something that I could just focus on instead of having all these crazy thoughts in my head, um, or just panicking over assignments or, exams or something like that. Into my adulthood, one of my favorite colors has become purple as well, because it's just such a cheerful color to me. Looking at the background of it, it's often associated with power or royalty. And the thing about lockdown, again, I know, I'm sorry, I need to shut up about it, but it took a lot of power away. So I think in many ways, this was like giving myself more power and control over my life again. And maybe that's why I subconsciously chose purple. So I've always really liked the color green. I think partially because it reminds me of home, since it's often associated with Ireland, which is where I'm from, where I was born, where I was raised. Um, and also because it's kind of associated with like renewal, growth, and like greenery and trees and stuff like that. And I quite like, trees and grass and plants. Um, so green usually is kind of an energetic, kind of lively color. And it's associated, as I said, with like renewal and growth. And I think that's kind of exactly what I needed, because it's such a turning point for me with like finishing college, with kind of, you know, at the time I didn't know this, but after the fact, just there was a lot of a turning point in the whole pandemic as well, where vaccinations were slowly becoming available and we were kind of slowly getting back to that vague normality that we came from. The thing that kind of immediately, when I think of purple and green together as well, is like Maleficent. It's Disney, it's Maleficent. Um, and I do quite like dragons. Dragons are pretty cool. Um, of the Disney villains, Maleficent is a pretty cool one. Um, Not necessarily my favorite villain, but definitely up there. So that's pretty much everything um in my room done. Um, am I happy? Who knows? But like the bulk of it is done. I'm still gonna rearrange my wardrobe. I'm probably gonna rearrange my room again, just shift everything about a little bit. And I still have to paint my desk. But we're like halfway there, I guess. Because I am a control freak, and the one thing that I can control at the moment is my bedroom. So I'm gonna, I guess, do that.